Year 25. Day 45 of being alive. I've been drifting in the cosmic sea for 100 years. Floating along the ethereal breath gave a guy a lot of time to think. There were 3 critical things you needed to know about me. 1. I was a god. 2. I'm made of slime. We had to get that out of the way because that was what everyone asked. 3. I was currently drifting in space after the ship I was on exploded. The ship's name was Solace. It was made of the finest wood salvaged from other broken ships. Imbued with our most potent spells, our wizards, who were half drunk at the time, could muster. The finest sail made from a whole bunch of clothes of our dead crewmates. It smelled milky and like fresh vomit. I mean, the ship worked. I was asleep on a pillow in the corner of the cabin when one of my crewmates kicked the door open. My eyes formed as people in the cabin woke up from the sudden entrance. The one yelling at us was a young lad in his 20s who dreamed of adventure. A dream he would regret. How do I know? He came into the cabin with snot running down his nose and tears in his eyes, screaming, "I regret getting off this ship! A cosmic swaller's coming!" A cosmic swaller is a beast that sends shivers down anyone's spine. They dwarf the size of any ships, with its eyes being mistaken for far-off moons. Their backs were made of comets that had gotten stuck. Their bristled teeth were the graveyard of any ship that dared to cross its path. A beast of hunger, but not malice. All it wanted was to fill its belly. Then, the skeleton-ridden bristles of the whale chomped on this ship, broke the magical barriers protecting us from the emptiness of space, and provided an atmosphere for the crew, sending everyone in the cabin hurtling to their deaths in space. 10 Legs was caught in the chomp. He looked up at me. I wanted to do something more with my life. Everyone from Captain Cloud, Kevin, Jerome, Louise, Lydia, and Marcy were sent into the void, unable to breathe. Some wizards tried firing off spells at the beast, but might as well have been throwing packing peanuts at a house, hoping to crack a window. I stretched out, sending as many slime tendrils to anyone who could grab them. I was fast, but not quick enough. As many I grabbed either died when the ship was destroyed, or passed in my arms as we drifted in space. The final words to me were calling out my name.
Sid, help us!
Is there anything you can do, Sid? Please!
Sid, your body's warm. Thank you for grabbing me. Sid, don't cry. You're the one who's gonna make it out. My final words to them were, I'm so sorry. I couldn't save them and was no match for the cosmic swaller. I was the sole survivor of the ship. Again. This story made the previous fact confusing, but didn't make it any less true. I was a god. Still a god. I'm a god. I made this discovery during my adventures through space. Before I set sail for the stars, I was floating on a rock where I first woke up. I had no memories of my home, not a name, not a sky. I didn't even know if I had a sunset. I had never seen one. I seen stars die, and I once saw a wizard named Blund cast a fireball over a comet, and it landed on the other side. That was cool. His final words were, I can totally swallow a sword. I'm a wizard. Before finding out, he couldn't. The place where I float was called the Conscious Sea, which was a lie. There was no water, just a bunch of floating rocks and sailboats with thrusters. I spent most of my time staring at crossing ships and rocks when I wasn't part of a crew. The variety of people on those ships was crazy. Tall or short, skin, scales, or hair, funny or boring. I had seen thousands of people, but never one like me. I was the only person made of fluid ooze, and people made sure to mention I was the first of this kind they had seen. So I tended to wear a shirt, pants, and boots to make sure people were comfortable and take a humanoid shape. So I couldn't form a face, so my black ooze balls for eyes had to do. I didn't have any eyelids, so people had told me my lack of blinking was horrifying. I found their need to suck oxygen through a gaping hole in their face horrifying. Why not use the tiny holes on each side of your head to breathe, huh? But they just said they couldn't. I said they weren't trying enough. I was on a ship before Solace, the Blue Diamond. I started a short while ago, either a few days or months, I couldn't tell the difference. Either way, it was long enough for me to feel bad that the ship exploded during a duel with another. They fired a cannon perfectly at our fuel tank. I liked how the blazing flames matched the hue of my body. I miss them. During this reminiscing, I felt a gentle pull in one direction. as if the soft breeze was nudging me. Then it grew stronger, then stronger, until I was hurtling towards the surface of an enormous jagged rock. It was the size of half a moon, cut like one too. There were artificial lights sprinkled about on its surface. The shape was bumpy and jagged like a turtle shell. I was trapped in this rock's gravity, falling to my death. First, I calculated a plan. Step 1, scream! Did you think I couldn't make sound without air? Well, you never heard a slime scream, and trust me, I didn't need air. My head inflated 3 times its size, and I screamed as loud as I could. Step 2 of my plan. My body boiled as I broke the atmosphere. My slime cooked as my mass began to shrink. Maintaining my form was difficult. If I let my mind stray, I could disperse like a drop of water in the sea. The best move was to slow my descent. I flattened my body by stretching it as far as I could into the shape of a square. I stretched farther and farther, trying to cover the horizon. I then connected the corners of my body and tied them together. I turned myself into a makeshift parachute. Now, I was floating again, but at least this time, I was in the sky. From up there, I could see the lights far in the distance. It could have been a civilization or a bushfire, like a big one. It was clear to me that my brain ooze was still boiling, because if I hadn't flooded my mind with random thoughts, I would have passed out and hurtled to the ground. But a freefall from this height would test my divinity. Fun fact! Brain ooze is what I called my thoughts, as I was not entirely sure where my conscience was stored. I don't have a centralized nervous system like most flesh people. Before Solus's destruction, I was a strapping 7-foot-tall slime. Right now, my body was so thin it would have made 1-ply toilet paper felt like a duvet. I had enough ooze that if I took my humanoid shape, I would have been about 2 feet tall. I landed on a barren dust clearing, still intact. All I wanted to do was bury myself in the dirt and sleep, but the lights weren't too far off. If that were a city, there would be food, then probably a post office. I had a lot of final words to write to a lot of families, something I had become accustomed to. At least my handwriting was pretty. I altered my shape to be running on all 4s like an animal. My feet were 2 round paws, and my body was cylindrical and smooth. I called this form Sleek Beam. This made running easier as I made my way through the desolate wasteland, looking for my next meal. But then, reality hit me. The ship was destroyed, with my pants, bag, and every piece of silver and copper I owned. I was now stranded on an unknown hunk of rock, with no money.
Starfish King writes,